Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode. This is Derail Valley and I thought I'd take another look at this week. Now what I'll be doing in this episode is just taking a little look at the maintenance aspects in Derail Valley, because the steam engine itself obviously has water and coal requirements, and with the whole economy system in Derail Valley you do need to maintain your engine. So here we are at the steel mill where we left off in the last episode. And here is the locomotive shed, servicing shed I should say. So what I'll do in just a second is I'm going to reverse the locomotive into this shed. The locomotive is currently out there. So I'll go and get it and reverse it back into here. Alright, so I'm just adding a little bit more coal to keep this thing alive. And what I'm going to do is just fill up with a little bit more water. And I think we'll check out the tender coal and water levels. So coal is coming down a little bit, and water level, hard to tell, probably just under half or around halfway I guess. Alright, so just making our way over to the servicing shed now. Just reversing the locomotive here. I've already set the switches, so it should be smooth sailing all the way through to the shed. Getting closer now. Just apply the brake a bit. Alright, here we are. Okay, so this is the servicing control panel. Now I've realized I don't actually have a manual servicing license, so I'm just going to head back to the office and see what that license entails. And this is the license that I require. So basically it costs $20,000, and this will allow me to service the locomotive manually. And not only that, but allow me to service it at half price. But unfortunately I don't have the $20,000 to pay to purchase this manual servicing license. So that means I'm going to have to just pay the fees in order to service the locomotive, if that makes sense. I know it's a little bit confusing. It's definitely confusing for me at least. Anyway, let's get a printout and see how much it's going to cost to service this locomotive using the fee structure. So I've printed out the fees and I've just made my way back to the shed here. So you can see here the fee summary for this tender, which is the C566. The coal is basically $2.79 per unit, and water is 9 cents per unit. Now we've used quite a lot of water, so yeah, that's added up quite a bit. So you can see there it's more than what I've got in my wallet, unfortunately, at this point in time. So basically what this means is, folks, I can't afford to replenish fuel and water in my locomotive. I just thought I'd stop by the station office once again just to have a more in-depth look at the fee structure so that you can see what's going on here. So the fees themselves you can check in the career manager. Okay, so there's three items here. The top one is the steam engine, the L033 is the shunter, and then we've got the tender at the bottom. So this is the steam engine, and L090. Emissions $183, and damage to the wheels $72. So in the last episode I did do some wheel slippage there, and emissions is basically $183. So that's all the smoke and whatnot that I released into the atmosphere. So the locomotive itself only has about $255 worth of maintenance. The L033 here that we've got is a different locomotive. This is the shunter that I've driven in this game as well. So basically your locomotives that you drive in the game all accrue fees even if they despawn. So over time these fees are just going to keep adding up as you drive locomotives. So oil, sand, diesel, and the engine, there's some damage there to the engine itself from when I drove the shunter in the past. So there you can see there's $370 worth of shunting fees that I've got to pay for the shunter engine. Anyway, so that's just a quick rundown of how the fees work in Derail Valley. If you don't have manual servicing, you do need to pay these fees in order to refuel your locomotives. And you do need to pay these fees, you need to clear all these fees out before you can buy any more licenses as well. So just worth noting that as well. So here's the tender's costs once again that we already looked at in the shed before. Now notice the tender's at $13,000 now. It wasn't that high just now before when we were in the shed. I think that's because there's consumption going on still right now with the locomotive. So anyway, I guess we better find a job, hey, and make a bit more money so that we can pay all our fees. Okay, so I've got here a freight haul job, which is going from the steel mill, which is where we are right now, over to the goods factory in town. That's a tidy 7 grand right there. So basically that's going from steel mill up into the northeast section. So steel mill up here, hang a right, and then under the bridge and into goods factory in town. So that's a nice little job that we've got. It's 157 tons worth of cargo, worth of steel, steel slabs and steel billets. So let's go ahead and validate this job, start the job, and head on over to our locomotive. Okay, so just sheepishly heading out of our service shed after not having replenished any coal or water. But we've got enough fuel to take us to our next destination anyway. So looking at the job notes here, basically we have to uncouple at D6I, and before that we've got a couple at B2O. So B2O is what we're looking at here at the steel mill, which I think is over that way basically. So let's get on over that way. Alright, so I'm just making sure all the switches are set for B2O. And I'm just going to reverse up to those cars now and couple up. So reverse. And once we couple up shortly, we'll be heading basically forward in that direction ahead of us. Okay, getting closer now to our carriages. Need to get on the brake shortly. Let's do that now actually. And let's commence the coupling procedure. So the buffers are compressed. Let's put the coupler on, tighten the coupler, attach the brake hoses, and open the air valves on the brake hose. Just quickly validate, make sure we've got the right wagons here. 903, yes. And next one is going to be 502, yes. And yep, 617, that's it. All right, let's go. Okay, so horn. Could have done better with that horn, but anyway. Okay, so let's get on out of here and off to our destination. Should be a pretty smooth run up there. Our fire is getting a bit low, so I'm just going to add a little bit more coal. Where's my shovel? We won't need too much coal for today's run, so again, in the last episode, like I said as well, conservation of energy is very important. As you can see, using fuel and using water really adds up fee-wise, and you'll be made to pay for that. And if you use too much, then you're just paying money for no reason, really. So obviously there's quite a bit to be said there for running in a very efficient and conservative manner. And early game, I think the fees really add up. But from what I'm led to believe, as you do more and more jobs, it becomes easier and easier as you build that bank to pay these fees and eventually do manual servicing and save a bit of money there as well. So I think early game it really makes sense to try and save as much money as possible and not rush things and just try and conserve energy and resources so that you're not paying too much fee-wise. Because the other thing is as well, running the shunter is a lot cheaper than running the steam engine. And I'm just running the steam engine right now because it's a nice little novelty and I enjoy the extra work that goes into running the steam engine rather than the shunter. But yeah, you really do pay for it as well, fee-wise. Especially if you're running the steam engine in inefficiently, like using a lot of coal and water. So really got to keep tabs on that. And just quickly, the other thing is the diesel electric locomotive, the big one, uses even more resources than the steamer. So it's just something to bear in mind. Probably better off using the shunter in the early game as much as you can, just so you're not paying too much in fees. Anyway, we have left the steel mill now, so we can open up the throttle and get ourselves moving. Just inch back there on the reverser, just to save a bit of steam and save a bit of fuel, basically, water and coal. Alright, so this is where we are on the map. Just leaving steel mill and heading in a northeasterly direction. Got a bit of a junction coming up soon, but got a 60 km/h limit that we just passed. And looking at some level terrain, so it should be nice and easy sailing, I think, with our land ship. I think our water level's really gone down there. Oh, that's really bad. Hang on. Yeah, there's no water on the water gauge whatsoever, so let's just open this water valve up. And I can just hear the fees just racking up in the background. Oh well, we need water in the boiler. Picking up some speed now, and the junction is correctly set to take us to the left. Just get off the throttle a little bit there. Up ahead there on the right hand side, that's the shed where you actually start the game, if I'm not mistaken. And I remember starting off in that shed many, many months ago, if not well over a year ago anyway. So with the Derail Valley Overhauled version, which is what I'm playing, the whole economy system really makes you think when you're driving your locomotive. You can't just go hell for leather and drive as fast as you want and cause all sorts of damage, because you are made to pay for it. With your fees, so just bear that in mind as you're driving. Really, it really makes you think when you drive your trains and your locomotives in the game. So that's really cool. I enjoy that. I enjoy a bit of a challenge from an economy perspective for sure. And bearing in mind, we haven't even talked about hazmat, all the hazardous materials jobs that you can do once you get those hazmat licenses. We're only talking about really, really small time wear and tear here right now, so you could imagine if you blow up a whole bunch of carriages, like explosive carriages and whatnot, you could cause easily millions of dollars worth of damage. There is that whole insurance component as well, which I haven't really explored so far, so yeah, I'm kind of just scratching the surface of the whole economy system, to be honest, in Derail Valley. I think I'm slightly ignorant about the whole thing. I'd rather just drive, and whatever the fees are, I'll pay them when I can afford them. But as far as I'm concerned, as long as I keep driving cleanly and as efficiently as possible, hopefully I can make a bit of money and keep on going and buy some licenses here and there as well. I would really like to actually get the long train license and the concurrent jobs license next. And then I might get the manual servicing license after that, just to save a bit of money on servicing. So yes, that's my plans for Derail Valley anyway. So we'll sit back and enjoy the ride for the moment. I'll put some more throttle on. I'll just take a quick look at the map actually before we settle into this cruise. Yep, so I've got a nice straight section of track up ahead, so enjoy the ride. Okay, so just coming up to a right-hand junction here. 50 kilometer an hour speed limit. Shaved off a bit of speed before I went through. We're getting closer, So it shouldn't be too much longer now. Put some speed back on. And I believe it's going to be a little bit of an uphill climb actually coming up. So yeah, this is where we are. We've just gone through the last junction, the right-hand turn. So this last section is a bit of an uphill. So going to need a little bit more torque from those wheels. And I can feel the locomotive still kind of struggling actually. So see how it goes. If it doesn't pick up too much more speed, I might just add a bit more reverser. I think we're gaining on the heel actually. I'm just mindful of this corner, don't want to add too much power right now. Okay, got a 70 kilometer hour limit now, so it's gone up. Yep, and there's a 1.1, I think, percent grade from the looks, so add a bit more reverser. Give a bit more torque, a bit more throttle as well, and hopefully we can overcome this hill. But this is going to eat into our steam pressure a little bit as well. Anyway, steam pressure is still fine. We'll just add a bit more water, and we should be there shortly. Okay, so we've made it to goods factory in town. So just rolling up. Now I'm going to apply the brake and just get out, have a look at the lay of the land and try and find the section of track where we need to drop off our consist. So I've got the brake applied. So let's get out, have a bit of a look here and see. Yeah, so factory in town, uncouple at D6I. Okay, so this is the B section of track. I can see all these sidings designated as B. So I think the D section is up here, up ahead, over to the right hand side. Okay, so just on the rightmost section of the station now, if that makes sense. Here's the D sidings, D40, yep. So just head back to the locomotive now. I've set all the switches on my way back, so it should just be a smooth run into the siding. Horn. It's a bit better than last time at least. Okay, our fire's getting a little bit sad once again, so I think overall we haven't done too badly on this run resource-wise. You can see the pile of coal actually behind us in the tender there is getting a little bit low. You can see the sunlight now and can easily see the tender walls. So she might have another journey or so in her, another short one maybe. But I'm hoping by the end of this run, once we get our money, then we'll have enough money to pay off the fees for the tender and just replenish the water and coal. I'm pretty confident about that, so we should be able to top up so that we're ready to go for another journey. Okay, so there's the right hand switch coming up. That's going to take us over to the right hand side and over to the siding is where we need to be. Okay, so just bearing right at the moment from the way we came. And up here there's a little switch we'll need to go through and then reverse back. And then from there we'll be reversing right into our destination siding where we need to be. Okay, just about to clear that siding now. Sorry, not that siding, clear that junction. Actually, we will need to reset that switch, I just realized. So I think we're pretty much through now. We'll just go ahead and set that switch. Should be able to do it from here. Done. And I tell a lie, I didn't actually set these switches going into the final siding here. So let's just quickly do this. Take us into D6I, there it is. It's the track over to the left hand side there. So we've got the switch pointed the right way and that switch is pointed the right way. So let's go ahead and go back into the locomotive and we should just be able to reverse all the way in now. Just hopping back into the locomotive. Fire's really getting low, but no real concern. Horn, horn, horn. Whistle, I should say. Horn, whistle. Okay, so everything should be set up, like I said, just to take us straight in. Pressure's looking good. Fire's fine. I'm not going to touch the fire anymore. Okay, so this is basically it. Once we make our way into this siding, we can jam on the brakes, do our mechanical separation, decouple the consist, and we can pick up our money. Alright, the water's gone down once again. I've really got to keep more of an eye on this water level. take it all the way in. Okay, so we are on D6I, which is where we need to be. Go ahead and apply the brake. And set the reverser for when we need to pull off a little bit later. Alright, let's go ahead and decouple this train. So close up the brake hoses. Whoops. Oh man, hang on. Close up the brake hoses. Uncouple. And we'll let the train pull that hose free. We're not going to touch that ourselves. Very dangerous in real life. Pull forward. And I just heard it snap. The hose free. Okay, I'm not going to pull too much further forward. I'm just going to put the brake on here very shortly. I should actually leave the locomotive in a better position, but we'll sort that out later. Apply the locomotive brake and let's go get our money. Okay, so here's the station office. And we'll grab our job card and validate the job. Complete. There's an extra 7 grand, just over 7 grand for us to add to our wallet. Whoops, just jumped on the table there. Grab our cash. Alright, so now we've got 14.8 and we'll just go ahead and look at our fees. And fees are still 13,343 for the tender, which is interesting. So they haven't gone up since the last time I've checked before this run. So that's a little bit strange. I'm not too sure what's going on there. Just printing out the details. And yeah, all the fuel, the coal, well, it looks like the water is still the same as last time. So yeah, I'm not too sure what's going on here. Okay folks, normally I'd end the video right about here, but I just thought I'd throw it out to you guys as well. I'm having a bit of a dilemma actually. So I've got this steam locomotive and currently it's charging me about 13,000, well I owe 13,000 in fees on this steam locomotive. So in my wallet right now I've got about 14 grand. So I'm thinking I might actually park up the steam locomotive, just put it right here in front of this DE6. I think there should be enough space, might have to push it a little bit. But yeah, I'm thinking might just have to switch over to this diesel shunter for a little bit, because the diesel shunter will cost way less in fees and it will still move the same types of trains and consists that I've been moving with this steam loco anyway. It's not like I'm hauling really heavy weight at the moment with the steam locomotive. So tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm just thinking at this point I might just mothball the steam locomotive for now until I can get the long train license and maybe the manual servicing license as well, because that will really cut our servicing costs in half basically. And with the long train license as well, I can pull some longer trains, make some more money. So yeah, I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do. But open to your comments as well. If you want to leave any feedback in the comments, please do. But for now, what I'm doing is I'm just going to park up the steam locomotive, and I've made my mind up that I'm going to basically take the diesel shunter for the next few runs, I guess. But feel free to change my mind. I'm just going to couple up here to the diesel locomotive and just going to push it back a little bit because there's not much space on the siding here. So just bear with me a sec while I do this. It's actually quite funny, I can push DE6 diesel electric locomotive even though I don't have a license for it. Doesn't stop me from pushing it around. So yeah, I think, like I said, I'm going to be switching over to the diesel shunter there, just so I can make a bit more money, because the fees on that are going to be way less. Once I get the long train license and the manual servicing, I'm really going to be able to increase my profit margins, and then I can switch back to driving this wonderful steam engine once again. But yeah, in the interests of the economy in the game and being realistic and being I guess, frugal and pragmatic, I'm gonna have to go this way. So I'm just gonna kill the fire in the locomotive here. I'm not gonna leave it running because that's gonna jack up the fees even more. So I've just dumped out the fire. Now I'm just gonna release the pressure from the boiler. Just use this little knob here. I'm not going to drain or release all the pressure out of the boiler. I just want to release enough so that the water doesn't deplete too much from the boiler. Probably take it down to about 3 bar. Okay, so I think this will be it for a while for the steam locomotive. Just going to center everything, put the brakes on. Yeah, coal's coming down. So yeah, we'll leave the steam loco here for now. Hopefully it doesn't rack up more fees now that I've turned it off. I've disconnected it from the DE6 as well. But yeah, I think we'll take the shunter for a little run next time, most likely. Do let me know what you think though in the comments, if you've got any thoughts on the matter. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share this video if you enjoyed it. And I will catch you in the next one.